Hello and welcome to Neverwinter Nights 2. Some time ago I completed Neverwinter Nights and its closest expansion, the high-level expansion, I should say, featuring or using a monk. I quite enjoyed playing the monk. The monk is a very, very nice class because it gets abilities all the way up to its levels and becomes surprisingly powerful for an unarmed fighter class thing. It's more of a rogue according to the description, but it turned out to be quite strong. So of course I could just use a monk in this game as well, sort of have a continuation of Neverwinter Nights, but I want to do something slightly different. I originally intended to do a caster, and I did actually do some recording where I was playing a wizard class, but I found it a bit not very interesting, so I scrapped that idea. Next up was trying with the idea of a paladin, because it is thematically my favorite archetype. I do like the noble protector of the innocent and kind of stuff, but in this game specifically, the paladin is considered to be very, very weak. And it is not actually because the paladin in and by itself is very, very weak, it's just because so many of the other classes are so much stronger. So, what I've decided to do is do a bit of a combination sort of thing. I'm going to do a class which is what certain people consider to be what the paladin should have been, but also a caster. So, let us do a new game, new campaign, and the official campaign. A period of calm has settled over Neverwinter, and the city has begun to recover from its devastating war against the Luskan. However, a dark evil from the past has reawakened and threatens to sunder the fragile peace. Once again, a hero must emerge to protect the citizens of the north and prevent the region from plunging forever into darkness. So, here we go. I'm going to create a character. And last time I played a male character, and I will happily play a female, so for variety's sake, a female character. Humans, they're boring, but they don't come with any downsides. Quick to master when extra feat at first level, 4 extra skill points at first level, plus 1 additional skill point at each following level. The favorite class is something that may or may not become relevant, but for now, let's just move on. Then we have to customize, and thankfully I have done some test recording, so I have an idea of what I want to do. I don't care about height and girth. A lot of these faces look like they got a bad toothache. Yeah, well, not the most advanced choice in the world, but whatever, it is what it is. Hair selection. For reference, I'm sitting on a very, very creaky chair, and I'm trying very, very hard to prevent it from being creaky. This works for me. Eye color, something glowing yellow would have been nice, but why not a light green? Dark eyebrows and hair color, I have already determined that I like the white with the black. It looks spiffy. And I like the word spiffy, by the way. Hair accessory, some of these colors seem to stand out a bit much, but why not a blue hairband? Next. Then we have to choose the class. I'm going to go with a favorite soul. It is claimed to be similar to the cleric, but it isn't. It doesn't have a lot of the stuff that is very, very natural for a cleric, something like Turn Undead, for instance. For those who are familiar with the sorcerer, it's just basically a divine sorcerer to a certain point, with certain differences. And one of the main differences, of course, I mean, it is a divine caster instead of an arcane caster. Deity's weapon proficiency. Favorite soldiers gain a weapon proficiency feat that allows them to use their deity's favorite weapon. For example, favorite souls of Kalimwar will gain the exotic weapon proficiency feat, enabling them to use a bastard sword. and weapon focus, and somewhat later weapon specialization, which is something normally exclusive to fighters. Favorite soul it is. When it comes to alignment, I can't play evil characters. I just cannot. I know it's just a game. There's no consequences for being the most nasty individual you can possibly be, but I just don't have it in me. I know it sounds a bit, um, I don't know, pretentious perhaps, but I do not, in any way, shape, or form, find it remotely interesting in any way possible to be nasty, even though it's just a game. Evil is out. Chaotic, they are apparently in this game very, very unreliable. That is how you perhaps will play to be fulfilling the chaotic alignment. I'm not bothering. Lawful good, lawful stupid, lawful boring, whatever. That is my alignment of choice. Based on the alignment, you have access to certain deities, and as it says up here, choose a deity for your character to worship. Choice of deity has no significant impact on your character, except for the fact, of course, of favorite soul, though it may be referenced during the game. The deity you decide to worship will have a favorite weapon, and that is what you're going to get proficiency in as a favorite soul. Quarterstaff, 200 weapon. Scythe, 200 weapon. You do not want to forego a shield because you are going to be predominantly a melee character. So we need to find something that works with melee. One-arm strike, warhammer could be, I suppose. Let's be different and go with a bastard sword. Helm, the Watcher, the Vigilant One. Yeah, why not? Then we have statistics. Because the favorite soul is a divine caster that uses the sort of spell system kind of thing, it's also, of course, unlike wizards, which are relying on their intelligence for spell access and the spell difficulty. They use charisma. The favorite soul also uses charisma for spell access. But for some bizarre reason, I hope it's not intentional because it just gimps the favorite soul into higher heaven, pun intended. The favorite soul requires charisma for spell access, but it requires wisdom to define the spell difficulty. It is, of course, defining how hard it is for enemies to resist any potential offensive spells. There was a bug in this game, I don't know whether it's been fixed, where apparently charisma was the defining factor in defining how difficult it would be to resist favorite souls spells. But if that has been fixed and wisdom is the defining factor, an offensive casting favorite soul is just not possible. You cannot afford to put pump points into both wisdom and charisma to make your spells effective. You have to sacrifice one or the other. So that sacrifice will be made. Hit the recommend just to get a baseline for what the game thinks you should probably go for. Of course, charisma is an important stat because the final spell access. In order to get access to 9 level spells or level 9 spells, you would need 19 charisma eventually. But we're going to modify this slightly. Get 12 in intellect and then keep constitution. We can sacrifice a bit of dexterity and then get 16 strength because we are going to be a melee character. Background to represent special details of your character's past, background, minor bonuses and penalties, and also the way some people view your character. It's basically just giving you bonuses to certain skills and penalties to other skills, and again, it's depending on the stats you chose before, which ones you have access to. You can always go with no background, but high charisma, go for the flirt. +1 listen, +1 diplomacy, -2 intimidate. She's never going to try and intimidate anything, so it's a given. It's perfectly fine. You have a choice to select a certain module, thing, or class kit, and the game will define what feats and whatnot you should pick, and it's usually garbage. So we are going to hit customize. The favorite soul on level ups will gain 2 skill points per level to split out amongst all the skills, and you can see the ones that are plain colored are cross-class skills, which means that it will cost 2 skill points to earn one skill in one of those, and you can only skill them up every other level. The light blue turquoisey colored ones are class skills, which are one-to-one base, and red, of course, are exclusive skills that you cannot learn at all. But being human, we get another skill point, and having 12 intelligence, we get yet another. So we have 4 skill points to work with per level, and 16 at first level. We are still a caster. Concentration helps resist failing casting spells if we take damage in melee, and we are going to be in melee. So that is very, very likely a very, very good idea. Spellcraft gives some spell resistance or ability to resist spells. Saving throw increase even. And it also allows access to certain spells much, much later on. So spellcraft and concentration are given. Because of this game features some very, very nasty diplomacy checks, and because of course we are going to be charisma based, not having diplomacy seems silly, so that is another given. That gives us one skill remaining, and heal is nice because it allows you to use healing kits, and with your skill increase in heal, you can potentially cure diseases and poison with a healing kit. Crafting armor allows you to craft armor, surprise, surprise, and based on the armor class of the class is the base skill rank required in order to craft certain armor, and then of course the material will modify. If we are to make a Mistral or Mistral full plate, it will qualify as medium armor, which is practical because this class does not get access to heavy armor by default. That would require 20 ranks of craft armor. I know there's one NPC that has craft weapon as a skill, so I'm going to risk it for biscuit and all that kind of stuff and forego heal and get craft armor. I could have taken a penalty hit to wisdom for more intellect, but I have decided not to do so. I try to avoid negative penalties. Dexterity is not going to be a huge issue by and large, but I prefer to avoid statistical penalties whenever I can. This is what we do. We have one proficiency to choose and then one bonus one for being human. These are the proficiencies we have, class ones and history feats and racial abilities, which of course is the quick to master and skilled. So you have background feats. These can only be chosen at level 1. You'll never ever get a chance to choose them besides at first level. Log of Heroes gains +1 bonus to all saving throws, as well as a +1 log bonus to armor class. It is very, very valuable for an awful lot of classes. We're going to take that. The next choice is going to be a bit interesting because that is for much, much later down the line. We'll need access to certain things that require power attack. So power attack it is. Now we need some spells. We have cantrips. Level 0 spells. Let's just get these out of the way. Light, resistance, and virtue. If we'd been a cleric, we would have access to all these spells automatically, but of course, because of the spell system being very, very similar to sorcerers, you only have limited spells you can learn per level. And you can pick and choose from this list, of course. And later on, you can replace certain of the spells you have chosen. But we have to be somewhat selective, and Divine Favor. You gain +1 bonus to attack and +1 magical bonus for every 3 cast levels you have. Maximum or minimum +1, maximum of +3. Apparently it used to be +5, but got nerfed. So this is a key spell for the melee-orientated Favoured Soul. Protection from alignment. This spell cast you choose a target to be protected from either good or evil. The target receives a +2 deflection bonus to armor class, +2 to all saving throws, and immunity to any mind-affecting spells or spell-like abilities used by creatures of the chosen alignment. Yeah. And we only have one more to choose, for the moment at least. Bless. It's always nice. Cure light wounds is likely practical to have, so let us take that first. We will have to wait a bit to get Bless. So, next. Now we have to define the character, and because I did a test recording, it came up with a first name that I actually quite liked. So let us just randomize until we get a surname. I could come up with my own name, but I'm too lazy to do that. Kaylee Colt. Kaylee Marshall. That sounds appropriately dramatic, doesn't it? She's going to be a bit older than that, not 1220. No. That's not what I meant. 22. Why not? 33. Dragon. 22. And of course, you have a sound set or voice set that you can select, and after going through them all, some of them, 90% of them, sound like females trying to emulate male voices, which sounds a bit wonky. I decided to go for female adventurer. That's done. So as soon as I hit the finish, we are going to start up the game. And for the purpose of this part, may as well get the first introduction in this part.
So many years ago today. Ah, my foster daughter is up and dressed, I see. Today is the High Harvest Fair, and the West Harbor Village Council requires me to man the archery competition. The human need to celebrate Remembrance Days baffles me, but at least something productive may come of it. The merchant Galen is here. He'll want my furs, as he usually does. Coins can be useful in getting by. This past season has been a hard one for both tilled fields and wildlands. While I attend to the archery contest, I will need you to deal with the merchant. Fetch my furs from the chest, over by the painting.
This is a tutorial land. I'm just going to go through and hit continue a few times. Cool. First, done. Come on.
Good. I see you have the furs. Galen has probably set up his tent on the village green. He'll be enjoying the fair with the rest of the townsfolk. Last season, I asked him to bring a duskwood bow to trade. Sell him the furs and use the coins it gives you to purchase the bow. Your friends await you at the bridge. I suppose you're anxious to see the fair. But don't forget to trade with Galen.
Yes, Dad. So I quickly need to change something in the interface. Bear with me a moment. I should probably mention, by the way, I'm recording this in 1280 by 720, and I do that because it makes the interface somewhat larger and easier to see, depending on what device people are using to potentially watch these videos. But for some reason it bugs. Any buffs you have or debuffs will appear next to your character portrait. And in this resolution, they are half covered by the hit point bar thing, and I can fix it temporarily by changing resolution and changing back to this resolution, and then first time I load anything, a screen transition or something, it goes back to being buggy. I've decided to do this way, even though it is a bit frustrating, but it makes this part of the interface somewhat easier to see. So probably get some of the spells that we use and down on our quick bar spellbook. Divine Favor, section from alignment, Cure Light Wounds, Dominate. As you can see, it says we have 4.
Bonaparte.
Available to cast. So, because of course it works with the same system as the Sorcerer, we have 4 first level spells we can cast currently, and as we cast any of them, the number goes down. The advantage of this system is, of course, you don't have to re-memorize spells. The disadvantage is you only have a few you can choose from, whereas, of course, a proper cleric would have the entire spellbook. But that's just... I just want to showcase it, in case anyone was wondering how it worked. So let's head outside, meet our friends, as Daddy said. He's an elf, and we are not, so he's not actually our dad. He did say foster daughter, so cool. Apparently we have some friends, that's more than I have. No mind.
There you are. Come on, the fair's already started.
It's the biggest fair in years. There's folk in from all the outlying farms, and even a few from outside the mare. That means a big audience.
A big audience, all cheering for us. This year's our last chance to compete for the Harvest Cup. Our last chance to win.
You have various different options to respond with, or you have various different options for response. This is usually positive, negative, dismissive, whatever. Of course, we are a nice person, so what's the competition look like?
The Mossfelds won both their matches in the Harvest Brawl. They'll be tough to beat, but Amy's bound to win the Tourney of Talent for us.
I convinced Tarmus to teach me a few new spells. And I dug up a couple more from his spellbooks when he wasn't looking. Anyway, I heard Will Mossfeld is doing the same act this year, so that should help my chances.
Oh, gods. Not the pixie impressions again.
We have to hold it ahead of us. What's our first stop?
We sign up with Georg in the village square. Come on!
That sounds like a plan. I will likely just speak to Georg and get things set in motion, and in the part after that, just to... my aim for these videos is about 25 minutes, give or take.
And the blight. You're sure it's spreading, Orlin?
It's no blight, Georg. It's something else. There's no mold, no rot. It's like the crops don't want to grow. Like they haven't the guts to up and face the sun.
What do the druids say?
Well, it's just a rub, Georg. There's no druids to be found. Not head nor heel. It used to be they'd warned me of troubles, long before I noticed the signs myself. But this time, we're out in silence. You think we ought to say something? Everyone's gathered for the fair, even from the outlying farms.
No. They ought to be free from cares, at least for a day. We'll go round tomorrow. Talk to the households one by one.
Right you are, Georg. Tomorrow, then.
Aha! I've been wondering when I'd see the three of you. Last year to compete, isn't that right?
That's right. What's the rules this year?
Rules are the same as ever. Win 3 of the 4 events, and you win the Harvest Cup. Win all 4, and the village council grants you a special prize. And nobody's done that since old Cormac.
What are the 4 events?
Well, there's the Harvest Brawl. Old favorite, that one. And the Tourney of Talent. But you've got Amy on your team. so you're certain to win.
Thanks, Georg.
Just the truth, young lady. Your foster father's running the archery competition, as always, and I managed to convince Tarmus to supervise the Knaves Challenge. I guess the Knaves Challenge will be your toughest event, though the Mossfeld boys might say otherwise.
Why would they say that?
Will and his brothers have won the Harvest Brawl 3 years running. It'll be tough to dislodge them, but remember, you only have to win 3 events to claim the cup.
The Mossfelds are decent fighters, but they can be beaten.
Keep an eye on Bevel, and don't let the Mossfelds get him riled. That's how they always beat him on the practice field.
Yeesh, Georg, I'm right here, you know.
If you have any troubles, you know where to find me. Oh, and good luck in the brawl!
We don't need luck, we just need skill. Ha! Anyway, I will end this part here, and when we come back, we are going to participate in the Harvest Fair and see what that entails. So, as for now, thanks for watching, take care, see you in the next one. Bye bye for now.